Welcome to the show. After the show, it happens right after the show. Cheers.
Dude, we haven't done one in a while.
We have not done one. We've been busy.
We've been busy. It's been tumultuous.
Although,
around these waters.
I feel like at this point in time, anybody who watches us is like, well, they're always busy.
Always.
Like, I feel like in every vlog, we're so busy right now.
So busy.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
This week we were busy figuring out who grandmothered Voldemort.
Nanamort?
Nanamort, that's what I was trying to say. Who
Nanamort. Oh my gosh. So,
Nanner was.
This was interesting because, for one, we didn't even start down this path. Even at all. What did we started trying to figure out why Lita Lestrange goes to Hogwarts.
Right.
Instead of like Ilvermorny because she traveled across to the States at one point in time,
right.
or Beauxbaton because
Paris
and like the entirety of her family is from France.
That's where they're all buried.
Right.
Lestrange.
So I guess it's like one of those things where you could send your kids anywhere.
You could.
But it's like,
I don't know. I mean, they must have to, I wonder if they have to pay, I wonder how like tuition works because like Hogwarts is a government funded thing.
Yes.
So if you like live within, the magical enforcement boundaries of the Ministry of Magic, Britain, then you'd seem like, yes, you can go to Hogwarts for free.
Sure.
But if you are from like France, then you have to like pay to come.
It's like out-of-state tuition?
Right, yeah,
okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
I wonder. I don't know.
Wonder,
or if they're just like, nope, our doors are open to all magical brethren. Not brethren.
Maybe it's like an exchange student type of thing where it's like, we'll take one of yours if you take one of ours.
A literal exchange student.
Yeah, like a literal exchange student.
Is that where the phrase comes from? Do trade students?
Maybe.
I think so. I always think of exchange students as just people who
have exchanged their lives
for a new one. For a new one. I think that is what happens sometimes.
That's how it works.
Like, we send you some of our students and we take some of yours, and it's a cultural...
I think that there is something to be said for, like, partner schools or school systems or something where they're able to do that.
Anyway,
yes.
We were looking at the Lestrange family tree for a while. Hard to read, first of all.
Hard to read, and it's so super weird. Like,
it is.
Lita's mother is like Yusuf's mother.
Right. So Lita and Credence and Yusuf are all half siblings, none of which have the same two parents. Right? Yusuf and Lita have the same mother.
Oh, right. And Corvus, not Credence.
Corvus, you're right, I'm sorry. Yeah. Not Credence. Corvus. And then Lita and Corvus have the same father. So Corvus and Yusuf actually aren't related at all.
You're right, but they... Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, if you look at their family tree, like all the women are in flowers, which is confusing because most of the men seem to have been drawn with very feminine features. So you're looking at it like, wait, I thought all the women were...
But then you're like, but
now these... And then their names are not any help at all. They're like, Foxel. And you're like, yeah, that's a dude's name. Floxel.
Floxel, for sure.
Cyril?
Not helpful.
Yeah, don't know what that is. But, so, the family tree that they show in the movie, the half with Corvus and like Corvus the second and third and fourth and fifth, that's where Lita comes from. That whole line, the name Lestrange dies off when Corvus Lestrange the fifth dies in the water.
Right.
Apparently dies in the water. We'll see. On the other side, you have Corvus the first's brother, Cyril.
So it's like this.
It's
so you
like
got
that.
Two trunks of the same tree. And like this one is Corvus and it's dead.
And
then this one over here is the wings of the turkey.
Wings of the turkey.
And it's still alive.
Yeah. And on that one, you still have all these up for here. These are all end in flowers, so the name would again die off because they end up with only daughters, except for this one dude, Cyril Lestrange the fourth, and as of 1927, he doesn't have any kids yet.
Right.
Or he's not married, or they're not showing up on the tree, which seems impossible because it seems like the tree has like its own knowledge. So the problem is, though, that means there should be no one left with the name Lestrange unless there's a separate family tree that doesn't include these. But when Voldemort's at school and they're at the Slug Club. He is the youngest of them, right?
And there's a Lestrange.
And there's a Lestrange who was older than him. And Voldemort was born in 1926, and these movies are taking place in 1927, so that Lestrange in that Slug Club should already be born, but he's not in the tree.
Exactly.
That's it. So everyone followed that easily.
Right, exactly. But this is what it comes down to, is like, these are such minute details. There's such throwaway lines where like Slughorn's like, Lestrange, don't forget to get that report to me by tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, if not for that sentence, it's not a problem.
Not a problem
at all.
But that sentence is there.
But they've said it. And so the whole thing is super weird. And like, even the whole Lestrange family, we said this in the video, like the fact that they're such an important family, it's like, it's weird that that's the one they would choose to me to have so relevant in the Fantastic Beasts series, because like the only Lestrange that we really know as a character at all is Bellatrix. And she's married into
right.
it. Like
she's a black.
She's a black by birth.
Yeah.
So anyway, that led us up the Black family tree, and we just started like, I don't even know how we got to Voldemort and the Horcruxes, but as we started to pull back the layers of it, it was interesting to me that like we found the row, like Phineas Nigelus's kids.
Yeah.
And there are 5 of them, 4 of which are sons, one of which is the only female. So then you didn't even have to make an argument for like which one it could have been, because there's only one option that is biologically capable. And on top of that, she had this like asterisk like next to her name.
Yeah.
Like where it was like, something weird happened with her. Like,
she
has 3 kids, but we don't count them.
Right.
And it's
like you don't know who they are.
Why?
Like, why? Like, why would you include that out of random? Like, you know, because at one point, you know, J.K. Rowling is sitting down writing little blurbs for each of these black family members throughout history on Pottermore. And she gets to this one, and she's like, their children's identities remain a mystery. Like, she typed that in.
Yes.
You know? It's like, what? Why didn't you? Why? To why? Why are they a mystery?
Right.
Gotta know. And it's like on this random character that's doesn't even get named in the books.
Right. I mean, this is the type of thing where it's like, I think the biggest reason I would question our theory today is if you were going to dig so deep as to think that such a, like, not even tertiary character, like a basically non-existent, like, character with a Wikipedia page this long.
Yeah.
Is somehow roped into the story.
Right. Well, it's just like, it's, what it comes down to is she's not really that important to the plot of Harry Potter.
Right, not at all.
Right, not at all. But as like an interesting part of Voldemort's past, like the other weird, flimsy part of it is that the only reason you know about Voldemort killing an Albanian peasant and the Muggle tramp are just because J.K. Rowling said it off the cuff in an interview.
Right.
So it's like, how much, like, on the one hand, she had the knowledge locked and loaded. Like, she must know the history of these people. But she also, like, doesn't mention them at all in the books. Like, it's, you know, it's not in writing anywhere other than she said it out loud in an interview once.
Right. And that, yeah. So that like draws attention to a couple of different things, like where you just never know what to really count as canon. But that information has been discovered and rediscovered and rediscovered enough times that like it is what people assume to be true.
Right.
Like it happened far enough back in history before like this whole wave of theories sort of came through. So like it's information that seems like it was somehow real.
Yeah.
But then the other really fascinating thing about this video, or this topic altogether, is the fact that nobody, as far as I know, or even myself included, has ever really given any thought as to who Voldemort's grandmother would be.
Right.
And like, and I think that that's a weird thing, because in a world where like lineage matters so much, it's weird that like the father side is the one that we've seemed to give it like the importance to. For some reason.
Well, that's where the name comes from, I guess.
Sure.
Seems to be part of it. But it's the sort of thing you figure Voldemort himself might have cared about.
Yes.
Like, you know, he went back to hunt for one, like the rest of his family, basically.
Right.
He was going to try and find Morphin and Marvolo and presumably kill them both. which means that would have been like his grandfather. He did kill his grandfather and grandmother on the other side of the family.
Right.
So, like, why wouldn't he be looking for his grandmother, too?
Right. Yeah, like trying to discover more about that. And no doubt he would find who she was, if we are correct, and be disappointed.
Sure.
To find out that, like, this is a person of magical disgrace.
Yeah.
Which I think we know to be true. I think that is true.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only explanation as to why they don't have their roots going down the tree.
Right, like why that explains why they're a mystery, is that, and so okay, it's also I'm just thinking of this on the fly, that when we re-meet the owners of Borgin and Burke's, you only meet Borgin, like there's no more Burke working there.
Oh,
right. So like maybe Herbert Burke or whatever, or whoever Belvina married wasn't such a bad guy, like. She was a squib, and he was like, I don't care, I love you, I'm going to marry you.
Right.
And then, like, that was sort of it for the Burke line. Like, they were like, nah, well, we don't like you. You're like, disowned.
Interesting. Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fascinating. I think that it gives backstory to something that, again, and this is, like, sometimes my favorite kind of theory, because it doesn't harm anything we already know.
Right.
It just gives like a more colorful representation of what we never knew.
Right. It just explains the weird like Muggle tramp part of it, because you could maybe I don't know if you would say J.K. Rowling's the one who said Muggle tramp. That's the weird part. But
yeah, I mean it depends on the interpretation of it though. Like I mean maybe like at the end of the day, a squib is effectively a Muggle in the same way that like Hermione is a witch.
Right, that's true. Right.
Like, you know, there is technically a term for it, but the term squib should be just as vulgar as the term mudblood.
Well, maybe. Because, like, you like Muggle, it could be as unvulgar as, like, Muggleborn, though.
Okay.
You know.
But you get what my point is that,
yeah.
like, it's possible to happen in both directions. Like,
yeah.
Two innately non-magical people can have a magical son or daughter, and vice versa.
Yeah. Although I don't know. I think did we ever come to a decision once upon a time about whether squibs could see Dementors? Like, do they have?
It's questionable at best.
It is questionable at best. Yeah.
Because Mrs. Fig can describe the effects of a Dementor attack, but I think that it still calls into question whether or not she saw them.
Right. But they don't know. Like the Wizenmagot trying Harry, they're like, can squibs see Dementors? They're like,
right. So that could be like a blurred line.
That yeah, okay. So you're right. I think you're right. It can just be the other direction.
Right.
Effectively is a Muggle. Certainly to Voldemort, she would have been considered such.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway, I think it's a super fascinating topic. I hope that you guys found this video to be interesting. Yeah. I worry when we deep dive into the weeds of so many characters you've never heard of before, if that makes the theory less fun, because it's like, I don't know who these people are. Like, it sounds like you guys are just reading too much into it. But I really didn't feel that. At no point in time, like, we were dealing with some characters you don't know, but the effect was on characters that are major and we do care about. Like, it's not like we were trying to figure out, like, who the Patil twins' second cousin once removed was.
Right.
You know?
Well, the thing that really sold me on was when we were trying to figure out what year he killed Hepzibah Smith and got the locket in relation to when Belvina died. And it was like, oh, he kills Hepzibah Smith in 61 and then Belvina died in 62. And we already were making all these assumptions about her, and it was like, well, look at that. There you go.
Right, that's the final marker as to like how he would have finally tracked her down, or even knew where she was. And then,
right.
You know,
of course, he's working for Borgin and Burke, so of course he could have asked them plenty of questions about who was this person?
Who was this person? Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know.
Yeah, right from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Anyway, this is a long show after the show.
well, we had to make up for a few missing ones. Anyway, guys, until next time.
Bye.